Hello student, welcome back. This is the second lesson in our third chapter regarding on the managing current record. So basically in this subtopic, we are going to learn on what are the differences between centralized registry and the decentralized registry. Before that, you must remember that what are the basic functions of the registry. And basically it is for managing the current record and to monitor the movement of the record within the organization itself. Not only that, we also need to look into the three phases of the record accessibility in the life cycle itself, from the creation, distribution, use, maintenance, and lastly is the disposition itself. So now, let's have a look on this centralized and the decentralized registry. When we talk about types of registry, it's actually divided into two. We have centralized registry and the decentralized registry. The basic difference between these two is actually centralized registry is at which there is only one place for managing current record in that particular organization. Meanwhile, for decentralized registry is where in the organization there will be the several units or the department that manage their own current record. So whether we use the centralized registry or decentralized registry, it will depend on the size of the organization. And basically, for the small, medium size of organizations, they will have the centralized registry in their practice. While for the big company or the large size of the organization, they will prefer to use the decentralized registry at which each of the department will manage their own current record. The first type of registry, we call it as a centralized registry. Okay, when we talk about centralized registry, meaning that the control is come from one location to control for the following components. So what are the components that they control? So basically there are four components, which is record system, record staff, record equipment and supply, and also the allocation space for the registry. So all this will be controlled in one location since they only have one department or one unit to control or responsible to manage this current record. And definitely, by having centralized registry, essentially will govern the classifications of the record, how to use the record, and the care that it takes in order to ensure the physicals of that record. Not only that, they also will have the specific instructions or the procedures on the custody. Custody means that the ownerships of the record itself, and lastly about the dispositions of the work. So here when we talk about record system is actually what are the system used in order to manage the record itself. Okay, there will be several types of system being used, at which you will learn deeper in chapter 5, at which the basic arrangements of the record that we have, the method of keep the record, it can be in the numeric method or the subject method and also geographic method. Alright, so when we have one place to control about the system itself, definitely they only have one standard system being used in that particular organization. However, definitely it will depend on the nature of the record. If let's say the record is regarding on the numeric filing, using numbers on the regarding on the financial, definitely they will keep the record using the number itself. While the record relating on the human resource, the recruitment and etc., definitely they will use a subject classification. Okay, when we talk about second components that the control come from one place is regarding on the record staff. When we have one place to handling the current record, definitely we only have that numbers of record staff who can and be responsible for handling the records. And not only that, the other components like record equipment and supply also will use in a standardized form for the one place. Okay, and also the allocation of the space of the registry will be in one place. Okay, definitely there will be the advantages of having the centralized registry. However, you must remember that these advantages or benefits of using the centralized registry can be effective if, let's say, it's suitable to the size of the organization. And again, for the centralized registry, is might suitable for the small, medium size of the organization. So what are the advantages offered by having the centralized registry? Number one is there will be the intellectual control over the record creations. Why? Because they will have the uniform policy direction, meaning that they only have one standard policy directive. Okay, not only that, the mail operations will be centralized on how they handling the incoming and also the outgoing mail itself. Alright, and also regarding on the messenger services, regarding on the use of the postage, within the organizations, especially to the outside organization. The next one is about the classification scheme being used by the organization. Okay, the classification schemes will be have in a standardized form for throughout the organization because the management is come from one department or one unit. Okay, not only that, the procedural practice will be the same because it in one place. And again, for the mail operations, they have a standardized in one place and also apply to file operation. So file operation means here how you arrange the record, what are the method that you use to arrange the record, and what are the what we call the procedures regarding on the record keeping and also the retrievals of the file itself. And lastly, there will be the standardized or uniform schedules and disposals standard and operation that been used throughout that particular organization. The second advantages of having the centralized registry is at which there is a control over the record creations in accordance with the file design. This will ensure that the record will not be duplicated. So means here, when we have one place to control on record creations, definitely they will have what we call the control, the main control come from one place to monitor to make sure that the creations of the record itself are follow with the stipulated procedures. Okay, so by having one place to create the records or to keep the record, it actually will reduce the risk of duplications of the record itself. Okay, as compared to decentralized registry. Next, at which when we have a centralized registry, then definitely we will have the standard procedures on the record management will be in the place. We will use the same standard procedures since the authority come from one department. The next advantages is that which in a central registry, the keeping of the record can evolve into a specialized activity. The record manager who is in charge will benefit from the experience of working in the centralized registry. It may be easier to justify the staff training for those in charge of a centralized registry. Why? Because they have experience in one place, having the same policy and procedures in hand from the creations until the disposition. And will be benefit again to the record manager itself because they had experience for the working in a centralized registry with that those standardized and come from one place. The next one is whereby there is a saving in terms of the manpower and the equipment used in that particular registry. And there also a clear understood responsibility on the part of Central Registry for the record management itself. Okay. Not only that, the other benefit or the advantages is at which the confidentiality of the information, okay, the information is more easily safeguarded. Why? Because the method of securing or the securities measurement for all the current record is in one place. So it will be more easier for them to monitor the movement of the record itself. And lastly, because of that, it also will help the information hogging or monopoly of the informations will be difficult. Why? Because it's been created and it's been put in one place. You imagine that we have 5 different departments in the organizations, for example. Okay, all of this record will be kept in one place. So the authority of the access of the record, okay, the borrower, the borrowing until the disposition will be monitored, okay, from one department. So definitely there will be a difficult for the misuse of the informations, okay, as compared to the decentralized at which human resource will keep their own record. Financial record will keep their own record. So there will definitely the monopoly of the record will be at their own places. Alright. In the next video, I will explain more detail about the second type of registry, which is the decentralized registry. So stay tuned with me.